Do not buy a Peak Design book bag, people. If you don't know what book bag I'm talking about, that's the book bag that Luigi had. Because the CEO, man, just exposed the fact that these people track this backpack serial number. They can track it back to the original owner. And if a crime is committed with this book bag, bro, they can call the company, the police department can call the company, and they'll tell them who's the original person who purchased the book bag. Now, the problem with that is that, let's say you need some money real quick, and you have this nice book bag over here, and you decide to sell it on Facebook Marketplace, or Craigslist, or something like that, right? Or Lego, and then, boom, that person commits a crime. The police department says, oh shit, this was left on the scene of the crime. They look up the serial number, they call the Peak Design CEO personal number. He was like, yeah, man, that was Luigi, man. I can show you the date and time, man, when he purchased it, bro. It is crazy to the extent that we're all being surveillance, bro. Our cell phones is not enough, bro. Our Teslas is not enough, man. The electronic devices in our homes is not enough, man. Our Ring doorbells is not enough. Our watches is not enough, bro. Even the shit that we wear, bro, they're tracking now. That's crazy. So yeah, if you buy a Peak Design book bag, bro, do it at your own risk, man. Burn it or do something when you're done with it. Don't even donate it, because if a crime is committed with that book bag, the cops is gonna want to know who purchased it, and it's gonna be tracked back down to you.
Peak Design CEO is under major backlash from Americans after he called the police to trace the serial number on Luigi's bag. Now the internet is asking, did this CEO cross the line, or was he just doing what he thought was right? Let's break into it, guys. I'll be back with more commentary.
Watching the CEO of Peak Design that backpack do damage control because people found out that he snitched on Mario's brother is it's karma. Before he opened his mouth, those backpacks were selling like hotcakes. They were trending upwards on Google and everything. And now people are returning their bags because they found out you're a snitch.
When I first heard that Luigi's backpack was made by Peak Design, I thought, wow, the man has great taste. That's the same brand that makes my camera bag, and I like my bag. It's one of the few that I've ever owned that lasted more than a year or two. Then I heard that the CEO of Peak Design, on his own accord, got the serial number from his bag, then tracked down his identity, and then passed it on to law enforcement. No subpoena, no anything, just like, hey guys, law enforcement, yeah, here is my customer's personal identifying information, just for funsies. Wild. So suffice it to say, I am not going to use my Peak Design camera bag anymore because I don't want to give them free advertising. I do not want to support a company that doesn't even wait for the subpoena or law enforcement, but instead is willing to just give out their customers' personal information just if they want to. Like, have they thought about who their median customer is? Photographers? The ones that do it professionally don't even get health insurance because they're self-employed. Why would they want to give you money now? Wild. I hope someone DDoSes their website, honestly.
Good morning, Peak Design. Why did you have to rat out Luigi? I mean, if he did commit the crime, which I didn't see it, I mean, why did you have to stick your nose in it, though? And then you have the audacity to turn your comments off, and I wonder why. I mean, like, you could have just sat this one out. Like, you didn't have to go into your little computer, put in some serial code, tell the authorities. But you turned your comments off, though. Like, what, now you don't want to hear why the American people are upset at you? Oh, Peak Design, you should have sat this one out.
Okay, I don't know if you guys have heard yet or not, but the CEO of Peak Design ratted our boy Luigi out. Who the fuck is Peak Design, right? They are the makers of the backpack that Luigi had full of Monopoly money. The CEO of Peak Design saw a photo of it, knew it was his, called the police, asked for the serial number, and then told the police who purchased the backpack. So, Peak Design is on TikTok, everyone. So why don't you head over there and let Peak Design know how you feel about them ratting Luigi out. Okay, kids, have a good night.
It really doesn't matter how you feel about the death of the United CEO or the killer Luigi. That backpack company, Peak Design, needs to be packed up and out of business by Q2 next year. Because why are you gaslighting us now when you proudly went on the news, the CEO or whoever from that company proudly went on the news talking about they were working with the authorities and they could trace the backpack and the serial number and all that stuff. But now that you're not being hailed as a hero, now that the company is not being like the public is saying, what the hell? Now you want to say, oh no, we never worked with authorities. No, you went on the news and very proudly stated that you were going to help the authorities. You're not the good guy. At least back in 2016, after the San Bernardino terrorist attack, Apple tried to keep up the theater of protecting customer privacy. Even though those customers did a very heinous thing, Apple made the government take them to court in order to access their phones. This company volunteered their customer information. That is not a safe place for your data. They're showing it's not a safe place for your data. Now, is everybody with that backpack going to go out and do a crime? No. But if you're accused of something and you have that backpack, they're showing, they're going to tell.
By now, everybody recognizes this photo as the book bag that was found in Central Park with the jacket and Monopoly money. After this photo went viral, it drew sales through the roof for the company, which is Peak Design. This is the CEO of Peak Design. His name is Peter Daring, and he said his phone was blowing up when that photo went viral. Everybody was texting him like, oh my God, is that your book bag? And when he went to look, he realized, yes, it is. The thing about these book bags is they actually have serial numbers, which means if you've purchased a book bag from Peak Design, they have the information of who purchased and which one. So when Peter saw that that book bag belonged to his company, he called 911 to say, hey, I could possibly help you with more information. Apparently that specific book bag stopped being produced in 2019, which means the person who purchased it could be the shooter, but also maybe the shooter bought it from Goodwill. Anyway, I'm not really sure if his information was very useful to police, but I guess we'll find out whenever trial comes about.
So quite a few have made it very known in my video about Peak Design's update that Peak Design actually put out a statement regarding the privacy of their customers. It basically says that Peak Design has not provided any sort of customer information that would aid the police in catching the shooter of the UHC CEO. And I think that the company is actually running a little bit skittish because when you look up Peter Daring's name as it pertains to Google search queries on trends.google.com, you can see a little bit of a spike around December 4th and then a massive spike around the time it was reported by the New York Times that he had in fact tried to help police. This is the headline from the New York Times that reads, "A backpack maker believes he identified the shooting suspect's bag." And this is the most pertinent quote to whether or not Peter Daring actually helped the police. When he called the tip line, the person who answered said he had received hundreds of calls from people telling him the bag was a Peak Design item and said he would pass along the information to detectives, Mr. Daring said. As of Thursday morning, Mr. Daring said he had not heard back. Mr. Daring said that if the police sought his help, he would check with his general counsel about what information he would release without violating the company's privacy guidelines. And then in a direct quote, it reads, "Of course, my instinct would be to do whatever is possible to help track this person down." I want you to pay attention to the direct quote the most. If you've ever gone through the editorial process of a publication, you do have to go through legal screenings for what you're reporting. The spin on whatever information you're reporting on is yours to do, but in terms of direct quotes, facts, and information that you are disseminating through your article, it has to be checked by legal to make sure it is accurate. I've gone through this process many times, and yeah, it happens regardless of the level of publication a lot of times. But the part I at least hear people talking about is that this is actively a shift that I'm seeing. Because of the propaganda of shows like Law and Order, multiple different cop shows, Blue Bloods, what have you, there's an assumption amongst the public that CEOs and companies cooperate with police regardless. And I find it extremely interesting that in this day and age, particularly because of this moment, a CEO is putting out a statement that basically suggests that he would not work with police and has not worked with police. And right now I am curious to see and curious to watch if the public sentiment around policing changes because of this case. Because for the most part, whenever something like this happens and there's a company that could intervene and provide information to the police, it is automatically assumed that they will do so. And now for what feels like the first time in a while, we are seeing a company actively make the step and take a statement to say that your privacy is protected against the police. And that to me is the most fascinating part.
So you mean to tell me that not only are the people really upset with the McDonald's employee that turned in Luigi, but now there's backlash to the company that made Luigi's backpack? Luigi, this is where you messed up. You should have had a regular backpack. Maybe even Nike and Reebok, who cares? but you wore a high-end backpack in which the manufacturer was able to identify it as their own. And the CEO was so proud about it because when he saw the backpack, he went and contacted police. So let's be clear, there were hundreds of people that actually called the tip line because they identified the bag and gave that information. The CEO could have been the 101 person calling. But that haven't stopped some of you guys calling that CEO a snitch. One social media user said, nobody wants you to save the day. Like, why are you giving this information out to the police? Another person said, you didn't have to tell anybody about anything. Anyways, easy to trace the bag because it has a serial number. And if he indeed bought the bag, well, that will definitely come out in court. What do you think?
I'm living that the Peak Design bag that are the patron saint of staying old business, Luigi Mangione was decided to allegedly wear during his alleged 25 seconds that were happening in New York. I'm not. But let me tell you, Peak Design grew. They had so much growth. I made a video about it. I wanted to know where that bag came from because I wanted to buy it because it was iconic for the moment that was happening right now in history. And it sounds stupid and it sounds materialistic, but that's just how it is, right? And then I went to go buy that bag. It was on wait list. Nobody could buy it because it was sold out because there were so many people who were emblazoned into the cultural moment of what's happening right now. The let them eat cake moment is happening, right? We're experiencing it right now. And they were so happy to take that growth. Ooh, you know they were. They were taking that bag literally multiplying it and just sopping it up. But then the CEO decided, you know what? I have the information. I can just pass it off to the FBI and tell on Assassin Daddy, allegedly Assassin Daddy. And I am living because it shows how automatically your marketing is so important. You could have just rode this wave, kept to yourself, talked to nobody, closed ranks, and waited until a subpoena happened. But he didn't. He waited. He was like, nope, let's go ahead and do this. And then then they backpedaled, have their PR person, that poor PR person said, we never did that. We take customer privacy very seriously. We would never do that. The delusion is in the room and she is tap dancing on that man's face. It is hilarious. And yes, I was able to get a Peak Design bag, but I did not finish that transaction. I canceled that transaction before I could. I canceled it. It's just a masterclass of what not to do in your marketing right now. People are paying attention, and people are paying attention more to your CEOs. So if you have a CEO, or you are a CEO and you're watching this, and you have the ability to tell that CEO, yo, chill out, like read the room, my guy and or gal, do it, because it could really save your job. You know what I mean?
Good evening to everyone except the CEO of Peak Design. Oof. Imagine thinking people would actually enjoy the story. And the gag is, the CEO is going to be solely responsible for the dip in sales in Q4 during holiday season. And now we learned a whole bunch of stuff about Peak Design, which makes us never want to purchase from them again, ever.
So when are we going to file that lawsuit against Peak Designs for leaking consumer data information to law enforcement without a warrant? Right now, Luigi Mangione is the only person that I know of that might be able to file that lawsuit. How Peak Designs went about doing that, unless there's somebody else that's happened to. So if that happened to you, I would love to talk to you. We're going to find out how this all went down in Discovery. If this has happened to you and Luigi Mangione, I'm thinking, how many other people has this happened to? Class action.
So let me get this straight. Y'all blamed the McDonald's worker for nothing? Because turns out the owner of Peak Designs is the one who actually snitched on Luigi. So now people are refusing to buy product from Peak, and there's also numerous videos of people returning their book bags and any other accessories that they purchased from Peak Designs. I think Peak Designs is like a backpack creator. I think they like manufacture or make backpacks. I'm not really sure. But what happened is that the owner saw a picture or saw the backpack that Luigi was using that had the Monopoly money in it. And they were like, I think I recognize that guy. He came into the store or whatever. And then next thing you knew, they saw a picture of him and they were like, yep, We know who that guy is. So from there, they contacted the FBI and snitched on him. So from my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, the McDonald's worker that you guys are all hating on, who didn't even get the award money, had nothing to do with him being turned in, had nothing to do with him being arrested. Like, and so as of right now, people are like boycotting Peak. They're boycotting Peak Designs. Sucks for Peak Designs. Like, learn. That's snitches get stitches. You think that's just a terminology that people just throw around for fun? No, bro. Like, nothing's going to physically happen to you, but people will boycott your company. All right? Now you're going to feel the burn of it. Like, this is the suckiest way to go into 2025. Losing customers. Jesus Christ. You'll learn.
Wait a minute. The UHC killer has our backpack on. Yeah, that's our backpack. That's our backpack. We can make a lot of money off this, guys. We can make a ton of money. What we need to do is turn him in, and our sales are gonna skyrocket. I know it. Hey, yeah, this is the CEO for Peak Design. Yeah, hey, is this the FBI? Yeah, hey, look, I need the serial number on that bag because you know what? I need to turn this guy in. Because here's the thing, right? I'm a CEO and I get different healthcare coverage than the regular folk. You know, I don't have to pay premiums. I don't have to pay copays, all that stuff. I get hooked up. So here's the thing. I would like to turn him in immediately. What's that serial number, please? Yeah, let me look that up real quick. Got it. Yeah, that's Luigi Mangione. Hey, thank you. Yep, I know, I'm a hero. I know. Hey, Mom, guess what? You'll never guess. I turned in Luigi Mangione, the guy that killed the United Healthcare guy. Yeah. Oh, what's that? Oh, people like him? They were rooting for him? Oh, my. What? Oh, people are returning all their backpacks and bags to us? Oh no. I'm such an idiot.
I know the head of marketing for Peak Design is pissed right now. What do you mean you guys have people doing free promo, getting free user-generated content on Instagram, TikTok, and all the other apps, only to find out your CEO was one of the people who snitched on Luigi? Oh, I wouldn't even put Peak Design on my resume after that.
I just want to make sure that nobody is surprised that the Peak Design CEO ratted him out. We're not surprised, right? Like, come on, we're in a class sport. Know your enemies. And also, if this is the first time you're hearing about the fact that these companies will track your purchases even down to like the serial number, whoo, I got so much more for you. Next time they ask for your email or phone number whenever you're checking out, you say, what's an email? Phone? Do people use those?
I have a theory as to why the CEO of Peak Design ratted out Luigi. And I think that's because the CEO of Peak Design sees himself on the same level as CEOs of other companies. Now, Peak Design isn't a big company. I don't think they've been around terribly long, and they use Kickstarters a lot of the time to fund their new products. But, I mean, he is technically a CEO, and he is aspiring to be as big as some of these other CEOs. So I think, you know, in psychology, you tend to psychologically align with or sympathize with those who you feel are the same as you. And although he is, I'm sure, not making $22 million a year, or I'm guessing, but I think I'm right, he aspires to, he considers himself on the same level, he considers himself one of the elite, and he was looking out for his fellow CEOs. I mean, we probably all know that, but I just mean psychologically, I think he sees himself as on the same level as the CEO of United Health or whatever else. He was looking out for his buddies, right? It's very disappointing. I have a video that started to go viral where I was talking about Peak Design product before he ratted him out. I've deleted it, but I'm actually doing a new video now about brands other than Peak Design that are worth shopping. Okay, stay tuned.
Okay guys, sorry it took so long, but this is the book bag company that snitched on Luigi. They're literally the ones who told the cops, send us the serial number. We'll tell you the purchaser's information. I found this on their webpage. I'm not doxing. It was already on their page. And in true coward fashion, on blowback, comments are turned off. I guess now they're doing damage control for their stock crashing for people just being pissed off. They put a target on their own back. No pun intended.
All right, this message is for the CEO of Peak Design or somebody in the company. Listen, I know that what you did was not done with malicious intent and you were just trying to help. But the fact of the matter is that when you help in the regard that you were trying to do, like I said, it could lead to the wrong suspect being arrested based on information that you give to police. And we also know that American society just loves to tear everything down. But you also know what American society loves? It loves redemption. So you can fix this whole situation and take all this negative visibility and turn it into a positive. And you can do it in simple ways. I am not a guy out here that wants to take down a small company based on a small mistake. But I want you to acknowledge the mistake and fix the mistake to the extent possible. So you do it very simply. And I don't know why you don't have a marketing team out in front of this, but this is how you fix it. You implement a policy that says we will not give any of our customers' information to police absent a subpoena or a warrant. Then you guys make a new backpack and you put deny, defend, depose on it. That shit would be so hard. I'd buy it. And the interlink and the interplay, I mean, you guys have an opportunity to make your company bigger than it is, rather than take all this negative publicity and just hide from it or try to tell or rationalize your explanations for doing what you did. The reason we have a jury system in the United States is so that the general public or the people living in communities where crimes are happening are alerted to the things that are happening in their communities. And the reality is companies do not understand judicial process. Most people, unless you've been through it, don't understand judicial process also. And you also just think the cops are on our side. And they're not. Not always. Usually not at all. So boom, make a backpack, deny, defend, oppose, change your policy, and then maybe donate a small portion of whatever you guys make from that backpack to the Legal Defense Fund or the American Civil Liberties Union or something like that. Simple. I'm not a guy that wants to take down small corporations. I'm a guy that wants to get policy changed so that it benefits everybody. And the intent behind what your company stands for could be shown drastically by doing that one thing. So make a Luigi version of the backpack, man, with deny, defend, oppose on it. And all is going to be forgiven. And you guys will probably make millions of dollars. And we will forgive the mistake that was made just because you thought you were doing the right thing.
Don't mind me, I'm just going through my daughter's backpack before I donate it to make sure that there are no serial numbers attached to it, because the next owner may or may not commit a crime using said backpack, and then the CEO of the maker of the backpack will call the police and ask for the serial number and then turn me in for committing a crime that I didn't commit. If you don't know what I'm talking about, the CEO of Peak Design, the backpack that Luigi was carrying, the backpack that was found in Central Park with the Monopoly money, he recognized his backpack and called the police and asked for the serial number and gave them the person that ordered it. So now we're talking more surveillance. Yeah, it can be used obviously for tracking warranty issues and stuff like that, but you just kind of abused that power. Peak Design is missing out on a huge marketing opportunity. There was a surge of purchases after that backpack was revealed, and honestly, Peak Design has been at the top of my list to lug around my photography gear, but not anymore. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? So now everybody that purchases backpacks are canceling orders and they're returning them. Merry Christmas.
Alright guys, let's talk about this wild story involving Peak Design CEO Luigi Mangione and the unaliving of the United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. Luigi Mangione, who is now being arrested for allegedly unaliving Brian Thompson, somehow got tracked down because of a bag, specifically a Peak Design bag. Apparently, the CEO of Peak Design called the police and had them trace the serial number on Luigi's bag. That's how they were able to link Luigi to the crime committed. Now, on the surface, you might think the guy was allegedly involved in a murder. Isn't this just helping the law enforcement to do their job? But it's not that simple, especially for a lot of people in the black community and other marginalized group. When a brand, or in this case the CEO of a brand, decides to voluntarily get involved in a situation like this, it raises some serious questions. Like, why was it necessary to contact the police about a bag? Was there suspicions Luigi was connected to this crime? Or was this just a matter of let me get involved because I can? And why didn't Peak Design consider the potential fallout, especially in a time when trust between communities and law enforcement is so shaky? Calling the police doesn't have the same consequences for everyone. For some, it's seen as a neutral or helpful act, but for others, especially black and marginalized folks, it can feel like you're putting someone's life or freedom at risk, whether they are guilty of anything or not. That context is everything. Now, I am not saying the Peak Design CEO intended to spark this whole controversy. Maybe they were just following some kind of company policy. But here's the thing, brands don't exist in a vacuum. When your actions as a CEO end up playing the role, directly or indirectly, in someone being arrested for something as serious as a murder, people are going to have questions. Here's another layer to this backlash. A lot of people are upset because it feels like Peak Design CEO snitched or overstepped. And now it's not just Luigi Mangione in the spotlight, it's the company itself. And let's be honest, there is a reason why brands try to stay as far away from controversies like this as possible. So the question becomes, did the Peak Design CEO do the right thing? Or did they just open the Pandora box? Was this about justice? Or just an unnecessary involvement that led to someone being tracked down? And most importantly, what does this mean for Peak Design's future? Let me know your thoughts on this, because honestly, this story, as complicated as it gets, where do you stand on the CEO's decision to call the police? Was this a possible move or just another example of how companies don't understand the consequences of their reactions? Thank you very much for watching this far. If you're new to this channel, kindly consider subscribing, like the video, drop a comment, and also hit that notification bell for more videos like this. As always guys, see you on the next episode.